challenging to get that collective agreement, but Ireland's very clearly supportive of the Commission's position.
Thank you. Next question to Paul Cunningham.
Paul Cunningham from RT. Lascovo prossimo di Irlandi, pane Presidente. If I can ask you first, you mentioned the need for a fair and decent peace plan. Some believe that your Parliament faces a real dilemma, either a bad peace deal soon or a worse peace deal next year or the year after, given some Russian advances in around towns like Pokrovsk, which they claim to have taken. What's your response to that analysis? And Taoiseach, you mentioned about the big push for Ukraine to join the European Union. We have many tens of thousands of Ukrainians here who are on temporary protection. If they're going to be joining the European Union, can't you make a one-off to ensure that they will be able to apply for citizenship and they wouldn't have to wait 5 years, because at the moment the clock hasn't started ticking because they're under temporary protection? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. First and foremost, I'd like to say there will be no simple solutions. We understand that what's happening. We understand who we're dealing with. The question is, it's not about the complexity of decision-making. Those who are capable of making these decisions will do that. I am capable of making decisions. It's important that this should be all open and fair and just. There would be no game behind Ukraine's back. Nothing would be decided without Ukraine, about our future. If we're talking about the guarantees for security of Ukraine, and there is a signal about the frame document, then we have to clearly understand what it's going to be like and how it's going to work. At least basic things. Because, you see, it's not an experiment for us. We're talking about our people, our living people. The Russians started the war, and there are no alternatives in this formulation. They started the war. The world is a witness to that. They came with the aggression to annihilate us. We stopped them. Europe helped us. America helped us. Russia has not managed to occupy Ukraine because of the resilience of Ukrainian people and the strength of Ukrainian army and, of course, our partners. We stopped them, and as the United States said, we stopped them shedding a lot of blood, and we fully support them. But we have to stop the war in such a manner that in 1 year Russia would not come back with a third invasion over the last 10 years. That may happen. That can happen because that was their main objective. They have not reached their objectives to occupy our state. I'm not sure that their objectives changed. They could have postponed their objectives, but we need support, a defense for that. What will happen tomorrow when our soldiers will go back home, go back home. Unfortunately, not all of them. Many of them won't come back home alive anymore. When they go back home, become engineers, teachers, various professions, and they'll come back. But Russia will continue building up their army and defenses, preparing for the next invasion. Who can tolerate and endure that? Our people are strong. But with all due respect, that's why we want a certainty. We're grateful to the United States for the fact that they are prepared to be a guarantor of this security. But we want these guarantees. We want to understand this. We're grateful to Europe. We are grateful for Ukraine being seen in the European Union. And for us, it's important when this century or next century we're going to be in the European Union. So a certainty for Ukrainian people is what we need.
Was one of the early advocates and supporters of Ukrainian membership of the European Union. It is a critical part of the future security of Ukraine, but also as a country that has experienced the transformative impact of membership of the European Union, we believe the Ukrainian people deserve to experience similar transformative impact of being a member of the European Union, and that would give freedom of movement to all Ukrainians and all Europeans, which is a very basic principle of the Union. We don't contemplate advancing that in advance of membership, although what we're endeavouring to do when we assume the presidency of the European Union in the latter half of next year is to accelerate the enlargement agenda. That is one of the key objectives for the Irish presidency to see can we get chapters negotiated. We've discussed that, and we'll be very proactive in that regard. We will continue to engage with the Ukrainian community in Ireland, and obviously we understand it's under the BOTP at the moment, the directive, but obviously we're going to have to work with the Ukrainian community who've been here for quite some time now since the war. Many have come, many have gone back to Ukraine or elsewhere, and many are contributing in terms of work and in terms of setting up businesses as well.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer from Bloomberg.
Hi, President. A question for you. You said that the latest plan that emerged from the recent talks looks better. Can you give us some details of what's in it? And do you have plans to meet